roots as we highlight the extraordinary story about Africa Town, its history, its legacy, and its courageous people. And joining me on the phone to do it, we have Dr. Sharon Ingram. She's the CEO and chairman of the Alabama Benin Trade Forum. And here in our studios, we're joined by Henry Hassim on my right. He's the vice president of the Alabama Benin Trade Forum. And
Hey,
on my
Chris.
left, we have none other than Elder McKinday Bolahan,
Can y'all hear me?
Alabama
Can you hear that,
Benin
Chris?
Trade Forum as well. Thank you all for joining us for this
Thank you for
Aware
having
Show.
us.
This is going to be an exciting Aware Show. Glad to have you there, Dr. Ingram. We'll get to you in a moment. But
Can you
first,
hear that
for our
good,
viewers,
Chris?
a
Kylie,
special
hey,
treat,
Kylie.
a gift from McKinday to you from Africa Town.
Can you hear? I want you all to listen to this.
Tumbamile oba, tumbamile, tumbamile oba.
Hey, Morbid Witch. Hey, Victoria. Hey, Lady Gemini.
Tumbamile, tumbamile oba. So this is a song of thanks and praise and sung in the Yoruba language of Nigeria.
Very good, and this was written by you.
By me.
It's a very special treat for us. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, thank you very much.
Now, we actually go back a long way back in the days when I was a news director and public affairs director at WBLX AM and FM here in the market. And so to see you again after all these years and for this occasion to celebrate African-American history and culture and to do it by highlighting Africa Town is a special treat.
But it's also a treat to see you again after so many years, and I am very honored to be on your show.
Very good. And also with you, Hassim. Hasib, we're so glad to have you joining us, as well as Dr. Ingram. We know that you all have been tirelessly working to preserve the history and the legacy of Africa Town. We're going to get to you all and what you've been doing with the Benin African Trade Forum in just a moment. But I want to talk a little bit about the history of Africa Town. We started off with it at the top of our show as we tried to just kind of capture the audience by giving them a very brief overview of the historical beginnings of Africa Town. But I'm turning to you now, McKinday. Just really dive in there and give us the background.
Okay, your statement about this scenario that you was laying out. Slavery had ended in 1859, and this bet was the cause of 100 souls being snatched from their homeland, carried across the ocean, and brought to what we call Magazine Point, it's now called Africa Town. And it is really a fascinating story of people surviving and people living and people remembering. And I think it's a privilege to be working with Dr. Ingram and Brother Hasid and trying to preserve this history, because when the people seek to define themselves or get direction, they have to re-identify and reclaim their heritage and their history. And that's what this story is about. The Clotilda was a ship. It was about the fastest schooner that they had on in the Gulf area at that particular time. And it was a bet by Foster, the ship owner, the shipyard owner, and the Mayer brothers, very wealthy families in Mobile. In an argument and a debate, like you said, they decided that they see could they still go to Africa, acquire slaves, and the federal patrols was looking out for that kind of thing because it was still trying to be taking place here in the Gulf. And they made a bet that they could still go over there and get slaves and bring them back to America. So that's what this story is about. It's about the people surviving that. It's about the people striving. And it's about us remembering that sacrifice and that survival that they went through.
And this thing really happened. I mean, it sounds, like I said, like a plot in a movie or something like that, but this really happened. And so we know that this is Mobile's history. What do we know happened after that? There's some other things that that came into play where these people were kind of left once they were brought here.
Well, yes, they was left, and because the feds had got wind that this was taking place, and so they was left. I think I don't know if it's Canebrake or Handy Bridge or one of those named little islands. They was left there for a while. Then they was carried further up in Mississippi and Mobile County, and put to another place. And then they came and they took the Clotilda and they burnt the ship to hide and cover up what they had done, because there was severe penalty if they was caught bringing slaves into this country. The people eventually, I think in your introduction, you were saying about when the, the the Confederate left this area, how happy they was that they was able then to start building a community, coming together and building the community. And that community is called Africa Town, U.S. Today, and it was Plateau Magazine Point at that time. And they had many families, and they was builders. They had trades. They owned their own businesses. They had bricks. They made their own bricks. They made their own shingles to go on their houses. They was fishermen, and they practiced the art of naturopathic herbal medicines, the natural medicines that they used to stay healthy. And so this was a time when they kept a lot of their traditions, a lot of their foods that they remembered. And the word gumbo is an African word, but it's a mixture of okra and other kinds of things to make a gumbo soup. So they remember a lot of the foods and the traditions that they maintained and preserved. And we have an Afro shade that we used to have many years ago when we first started the relatives from Africa who have a lot of their people buried here in Plateau area in the African cemetery. They used to come over every year, and every year we used to have a big celebration. But when they first came over, the Africans wanted to apologize for being involved in the process of helping enslaving their people. But they was caught up in a system themselves that was actually forced upon them to participate. So we got together and we said that what we was going to do, we was going to reach across the water and join hands together as a people. And even though this was a terrible legacy, we was going to use this legacy to build a community.
Awesome. And in that, a lot has come about in recent years with Africa Town. There are different organizations, as we mentioned, who have done different things and have been trying to basically preserve the heritage and the history and to make it a really big deal, because it really is a really big deal. And so that's where your organization has come into play.
Yes. I was just reflecting on some of the comments there, which is very true. And I was thinking about the great historian, Mr. Henry Williams, that really gave birth to the newer generation. Because people say, wait a minute, you wasn't born back then. How do you know all of this stuff? Well, our great historian, Mr. Henry Williams, inspired the mayor of Pritchard. It wasn't mayor at that time, but John Smith. And John Smith, after he became the mayor of Pritchard, he began to work with other government agencies and other people in the community to give us some recognition again of our heritage. Matter of fact, he traced his history back all the way back to Benin. And today, John is buried over in Benin. So we were able to take his ashes as a respect of returning home. Through that effort, John led a delegation in 2005 over to
Hey, Judy. Hey, the Moon and Mercury.
And we all went. I was able to go on with that delegation. And we went to Africa, and it was a new beginning for us.
So let me tell you what I'm doing. Tonight's supposed to be a seance where we are going to be if you would like to communicate with your sacred spirits, your sacred, you know what I'm saying, these sacred beings, but at the same time too, I got a little bit of background history going on. This is the history of of something that happened to African Americans here in Alabama. There's a place called Mobile, Alabama, on on the Gulf of Mexico, and right off the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of y'all probably know about Mobile, Alabama. I'm about 2 hours from Mobile, Alabama. Okay, um, where it's right by the ocean. And what happened in the early 1900s, a rich white family who had just money to throw away, they actually took their ship called the Cotilda, Tilde, and they got their ship and they went to Benin, Africa, and it was a bet that they could go and actually kidnap uh, black Africans and bring them up here, and it was just a bet. Now they keep calling them slaves, 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 slaves. Okay, I don't like that term. Those were hostages. That's what they were. They were kidnapped hostages. When they brought them over in the early 1900s, because it was illegal to continue the transatlantic slave trade by that particular time. You know what I'm saying? That whole scenario was abolished. It was you can get in a lot of trouble. They claim for doing so, but these brothers, the Mayer brothers, were able to get away with it. So when they got over here, they told the people, y'all can go wherever you want. They didn't want them. You just do what y'all want. They won their bet, and then they burned the ship up. So they've since found, the wreckage of the Cotilda. But this is what it's about. That this is what you can hear in the background. So a lot of us here, um, a lot of us African Americans, as they call us, are the descendants, okay, of those people, regardless to whether we were there or not, because most of the black people that are here, that were here originally, I guess, I don't know how to put it. We navigated here before the so-called Christopher Columbus story. We navigated here anyways. But the ones that were actually brought here as hostages, okay, were said to come from Nigeria, West Africa, Nigeria. And those that were captured after slavery was abolished, that landed in Mobile, are the descendants of the Benin people. And the reason why I think it's interesting, because it answers a lot of questions as to, why we still got voodoo, you know what I'm saying, on our minds. You know what I'm saying? So we got to realize that those ancestors of ours are still with us. Those spirits from Africa, those spirits from those ancestors that practiced voodoo are still with us. Also, now, credit is always given to the New Orleans, to the Haitians, but no credit is given to Mississippi, to Alabama, to Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee. Okay? No credit is given. And Texas, y'all know I keep forgetting. And Texas. Okay? So this is why I am trying to bring an awareness to the fact that we have voodoo also in our heritage. Okay? And I thought this story was interesting, and I just wanted to share it with you all because, to me, it's something to be very proud of. To be something to be proud of, you know what I'm saying? Also, in addition to Black people having some of that in them, of people of other heritage that are, descendants of, you know, the other people of other races, white people here too have. They don't want to admit it. They probably don't want to admit it, but most of them are proud of it. I know in New Orleans, the white people in New Orleans are proud of the fact that they too may have that in them too. What they call it in New Orleans? So they was trying to explain it to me. Says on her birth certificate. How she put it? Uh, Well, I guess they enjoy interrupting my live streams, y'all. They just get a kick out of it. I just want to show y'all my doll too while I'm at it. She says, "Hello, how are you?" This is my voodoo doll, y'all. Here's she's getting her hair. I'm sewing her hair on her head right now. So I just wanted y'all to look at her. She's actually a mermaid doll. I'm taking her to the ocean tomorrow. I'm gonna give her a little soaking and everything like that, and get her acclimated and all of that, so she can get her supernatural powers. I just don't know why I continuously to have live stream interruptions. I mean, it's just something I just cannot explain. And also I also don't understand why when I do videos and stuff like that, walking outside and everything, and all of that work I put into it, YouTube continuously and consistently, interrupt my views and stuff like that. I just really, I know what it is, but you know what we always say, I don't know, but we know what it is. I don't know why YouTube got a problem with the fact that I'm exposing the church. I don't know why YouTube got a problem with me exposing the fact that the weather is geoengineered. I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? I know that's a dumb question. I should know, shouldn't I, y'all? I guess y'all saying, duh, mama, you should know. Because I realize the problem is not the fact that I'm talking about it and other people are talking about it as we expose the lies, that have been fed to us. But the issue is of the population, of well, the demographics of people that you are exposing it to. That makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so this is what this video was about. So because I mean I know you all have it. I know that I have some supernatural spiritual powers that are with me. You know what I'm saying? I know that. Auntie has really made a believer out of me the fact that this lady almost died. And she's up there now. She's recovered. Okay, so I know it's these voodoo and voodoo spirits that are a part of us. Okay? And really and truly, these are the, if anything, these is the gods you need to be connected with, and not that other stuff that they done taught us. That other stuff, it don't work for me. The church, now I'm not trying to put nobody down. If the church works for you, I say stay there. I'm gonna say that so YouTube won't get upset with me and end my live stream, which they're gonna do it anyways. I say if the church work for you, go for it. But if you find that you've gone to church and it ain't working for you, okay, then it's time for you to move on. Because what worked for Jimmy don't work for Susie. Hello? Because the definition of insanity is just doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. So I know not to waste my time over yonder. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, these are my gods. You pick who your God is. I don't know who your God is. You understand what I'm saying? The leprechauns can be your God. If the leprechauns get the job done, then maybe you come from the beings of the leprechauns. Because I do believe in leprechauns. I do believe there's a realm for those. There's a realm for fairies. There's a realm for all of these different what they call your urban legends type beings or whatever. What do they call them and stuff like that? Well, I'm a believer, so I don't laugh at anybody's belief system. I don't think it's funny. I really think that if I wanted to be taken serious, that I need to take other folks serious too. Somebody say, hey, well, I come from the bins of the bunny rabbits and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's what you need to put bunny rabbits or rabbits all over your house, pictures of rabbits, rabbit pendants and stuff like that. Then hey, that's where your power at. It's just up to you to discover where your power at. And I don't really like to judge people's belief system because I don't want them judging mine. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I wanted y'all to hear that because, like I said, that explains the fact that Auntie's eyes are like they are this hazel green eye on a dark woman. And she can just speak things into existence and command them into existence because whoever these ancestors was, well, we got to realize we all are indigenous. Everybody in the Americas that's born in America, okay? And your grandmother and your granddaddy and your great granddaddy was born in America, okay? No matter what color you are, white or black, hello, or Spanish, you do have a portion of indigenous American in you. Like we all looking, where are the indigenous people of America? Where are they? Where? See, they depict the pictures of what they supposed to look like, but that's not true. These are just the people that the powers that be have chosen to represent what a Native American is to look like, and that is not true. Hello? Because those particular people that they choose, I have not seen one in Alabama yet. I'm still looking for them. But their explanation is, oh, they were killed off. No, they were not killed off. We are the evolution of the indigenous people, whether you be black or white. Like I say, if you can trace at least the last 15 generations of your ancestry to the America, you are a mixture of indigenous Americans. Okay? You have that along with your other ancestors that migrated here. Okay? Be that they are African, be that they are Caribbean or Mexican, you know what I'm saying? Or European. That covers it all. We are all black and white indigenous Americans. Hello? Some of us have a lot of mixture of African. That's just the bottom line. When you go to places like South Carolina, where the Gullas are, hello? And you go into places like New Orleans, you're dealing with a lot of African there. The New Orleans have a lot of African, Haitian, Indian in them. Haitian, African, and Caribbean in them. Okay? These people on these islands, like places like the Gullah Islands and the different islands of South Carolina, and also in New Orleans and Africa Town. Africa Town is in Mobile, Alabama. They do not tend to forget tradition. It's very difficult to strip away as they work on stripping it away, America, these people's cultures. Some of them still speak their native tongue. That's what I like about these individuals from these little islands and stuff. Whereas, I don't think they consider Africa Town an island, but it is on the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. So, like I say, I am very proud to know. You understand what I'm saying? That I know I have for sure a direct lineage line, okay, from Liberia, Nigeria, and possibly Benin. Now, I cannot necessarily claim, okay, well, I know I'm from Benin too. Because, Africa Town down there, we're not from Africa Town. We're from, Auntie said some of our people were from Mobile, but she really said that the majority of us were from a place called Kingston, Alabama, which is from Florida. She said we were from northern Florida. So she did claim northern Florida for sure. Kingston is right on the border of Florida. And it's good to know your history and to be proud of it and pass it down to your children, give an oral history to your children, even though they might seem like they ain't interested. They have to know this. The reason why they gotta know this, y'all out there in South Carolina, North Carolina, and I forgot to add y'all to it. Give the oral history to your children and your grandchildren, because when they get to be of a certain age, they're gonna want to know where everybody from. So I am proud to know a little bit of where we are from. Okay, and I already know I'm Liberian. And I'm proud of my Liberian heritage. Liberians are technically Americans, the way my cousin described it. Okay, he has a direct connection to Liberia. He speaks, most of my family still speak with Liberian tongue. Okay, what's so beautiful about them is they about this about the culture and everything is the fact they know what happened to them, that they were actually he said they were actually transported to our West Africa from the Americans. People do not know Liberians are really the ancestor, their ancestry is from here. So look that up. They were actually, it was the opposite for them. So whereas some people were taken from places like Sierra Leone and taken from Cameroon and Nigeria and Kenya, I guess y'all say, Mama, we get your drill. Guinea. Okay. The opposite happened for some people. They were actually extracted from America. And just, I mean, I could just feel the sadness. I mean, can you all imagine as mothers? You just had a baby, and now they tell you, oh, okay, we need to sell you. We're gonna leave the baby here with Aunt Sally, but we're gonna snatch you up. Now you got 2 or 3 children left behind. You may even have a man that you love, your mother, your father. You got to leave them. And you got to go to a strange land, not knowing anybody. Just sold, just like somebody selling puppies. Do you see the sadness they had? And they were always hoping that one day they will have the opportunity as they grew older, as their ages advanced. Now you're 30. Now you're 40. Now you're 50. Now you're 60. Now you're 70. Still hoping that one day you will be reunited with your family. And it never happened. Just like these folks still waiting on these 40 acres and a mule. Anyways, y'all, I done ran my mouth too much. Okay, let me read the chat. So I wanted to, for a minute, I'm going to turn it back on, let y'all listen to it again. I know YouTube is going to be bothering me. Sometimes I just wonder, though, because I see other channels that talk about some of the content that I talk about, and I still try to get an understanding why this man can talk about it with no problem. Why this happened? Why that happened? Then I look at their demographics. It's okay for their demographics of people to have the knowledge, because I don't know who their demographics is. But I kind of got an idea of the demographics here. There's mostly women here in my demographics, and we're in the South where they need us to stay in this church. They need us to continue to believe in the lie because they know the potential of the minds of the people in the South. They know y'all are the ones that was practicing this voodoo and Santeria, or whatever you want to call it, this Ifa. They know y'all was doing this. And they don't need me to steer the minds of the people. They know the power I have here to have the ability to what they call brainwash y'all, coerce y'all. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm only exposing the truth. They don't want you all to have it. But now they're gonna say stuff like she's nuts, she's cuckoo, she's trying to persuade people to live and believe in the cuckoo way. So she's not a good leader, and she's particularly dangerous. She's this, she's that. You know what I'm saying? She's a bully teacher. She's making these people believe in this. I go on and on what they may be thinking over here, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm not bullying anybody to do what I do. I'm not trying to brainwash nobody. I'm just saying, hey, look, check this out. These are things that I've researched. You know what I'm saying? After my spirits brought an awakening to me, I start researching and they started sending me information. And all I'm doing is just giving the information to y'all. I'm just saying, hey, y'all, check this out. Listen to this. How come, they didn't talk about the Clotilda ship of African town and Mobile, Alabama? Why ain't nobody talking about this history in school when they're giving it to these children? These children are really not learning his story or her story. They are learning bull stories, bull crap stories. If you really want to teach the children history, how come they don't know these things? You know what I'm saying? I don't remember them teaching us none of this. I just remember them saying, all y'all niggas came from Africa. And that's it. But Africa is so much greater than what they're teaching us. They never taught us, hey, but you do need to know that Middle Easterns are in Africa, Asians are in Africa, Europeans are in Africa, Black people are in Africa. Why didn't it teach us all of this? So I grew up just thinking that Africa was this little small jungle, okay, with a whole bunch of kids, walking around with distended bellies, hungry, with flies in their face. And it's not true. Africa is far more beautiful than America. But I can hear the people say, well, then go back to Africa. Well, I do plan on going. I think a lot of us need to go back to Africa. We do. And I'm going to read this and then I'm going to continue to play the rest of the video. Uniquely designed. How are you? Saint Anne said, of course you do. You got stronger DNA from Africa. More morbid witch says, always bearing the truth and anything that don't fit they mold. But you know what I'm saying? Let's jump. We got so much to talk about. What about the truth about women that they bury? What about that in this patriarchal society? How about we so much more greater than they give us credit for? It's a lot to talk about here. A head red spirit. They need to learn history for self-thinking and humanity, less robotic minds. Sekma says, child, I know the stories passed down from Elder Ken. Chris says, LOL, gone and said, mama. Okay. Chris said, girl, because they don't want us to learn information. Well, that is so true. But you know what? We are responsible ourselves, you understand, for going out to obtain whatever knowledge we need, you understand, in order to feed our souls and to feed the souls of the children, because the children, once again, our children are our investments and they need to know the true history. You understand? I go on all day. I know y'all get tired of me saying they need to know that they can be entrepreneurs, business owners, and start their own companies. They need to know how great their minds are while they're young. They need to know that they don't have to invest their entire life to someone else's best interest by working for corporations and stuff. Start your own corporations. You understand? It's a lot we could talk about when it comes to our children, but it has to start when they're young, and it's going to be up to you as an individual to implant within your children's mind whatever you want them to understand. You understand? So we really can't get too upset with the government. The government is just offering supplemental education. Okay, so don't forget that. You are, as parents, as grandmothers, as guardians of your children, whether you be an aunt, uncle, or an adopted parent or whatever, you are responsible for enriching the minds of your future. Okay, I'm reading the chat, y'all. Okay, St. Anne, she says she's a descendant from both Euros and African slaves, and they're not always polite. Just about everybody who can trace their lineage line for the last, I said, probably, y'all may have a good number for how far we can go back. Because a lot of people now will tell you, oh, well, they know, well, we came about 4 generations from such and such and such. But if you don't have that information and you know that grandma said great great grandma came from him, then you already know you got European, no matter what color you are, okay? And you got slave. Well, now I don't even say slaves. That's another thing. We got to stop calling these individuals slaves. I don't like that term we use, but this is another way that they have stripped the identity of your ancestors. You understand? Existence from them just by calling them slaves. Okay? Oh, great, 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 great grandma. She was a slave. No, who was really great, 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 great grandma? She had a true identity. She had a true culture, and as I always said, tradition and an individuality about herself. You understand? So I'd rather prefer to call them, in a sense, the they're not. I don't like to call them laborers. I don't like to call them sharecroppers. I don't like to call. You know what I'm saying? If anything, you may not agree with my term, but they were hostages, and not all of them. Everybody wasn't no slave just because they were black. But this is another caste system. Oh, she was black. Oh, she was a slave. Oh, okay then. You got a black ancestor. Oh, they were slaves. Y'all know how ridiculous that sounds to put that label on these people like that. Some black people lived on their own land. Okay? You may want to call them the freed people of free whatever, freeness. I don't know. I don't have a name for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to say what they call them, freed slaves. That's not true, y'all. Now, I'm not trying to say that there weren't people who were, indentured servants, laborers. I'm not saying that, because we know they existed. But can we really say just because she was black way back when slavery was legal that they were all slaves? That's not true, y'all. Okay? You can't make a slave out of everybody. You understand? Just like we can ride on a horse. We can ride on, and I'm not comparing these people to this now. We can ride on a horse. We can ride on a mule. We can ride on a donkey. But you ain't gonna ride on no zebra, because it could be tamed. So not all of us, and I don't like to use the word tame, because then people say, well, now she's comparing the ancestors to wild animals. Know what I'm saying? You are not able to brainwash and convince everybody to labor for you. You got some folks that say, fuck it, I ain't finna goddamn do it. Hello? Okay. So everybody wasn't no slave just because they were black. Now, so we need to start getting some of that straightened out. Don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Sakima said that southern spirit is so powerful. I mean that. Yes, most definitely. Because when you come down here, anybody who's not from these areas like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, I'm gonna name everything: Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and Texas. Which I've never been. I've never been in all these different places, but out of all of them, I've never been. I'm be honest, I've never been to Texas. So I can't talk too much about Texas because I ain't never been there. but I got a feeling about it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm back. But when you come to these places, especially the ones that are close to the coast, I'm close to the coast, to the Gulf of Mexico. You where the moss hangs, you feel the eeriness in the air. It's a feeling that is very difficult to describe. Now, you're not gonna hardly feel it in the city, but if, like I say, if you living in these like bayous, like I'm in a bayou, you definitely feel the ancestors. You can feel them, and it's still, even though they ain't here, in a physical body, there's still warring. There's still war between the ancestors. We need to know, as black people, that we still have white ancestry, even though we're black. So when you calling on some ancestors, some of these ancestors, you best better believe are white too. So you got white ancestry and black ancestry still in a lot of places warring. You can feel it. And some of it feels very frightening. I ain't gonna lie. And I know that I ain't no match for it. When that wind get to stirring and blowing down here and creating tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff, you can you just I just cannot describe it. You know that they are all a part of the turmoil that continues, and a lot of them cannot rest. Be that they black, be that they white, it's still a war over the land between them. Some of them are frightened, especially those that were black, that were tormented, that were tortured. You understand? You can feel the fear of them and what they went through. You can feel that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So to come here or just to sit somewhere where you ain't nowhere in these areas and talk about the situation loosely, like, oh, that ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? Is to belittle what they went through, because you have to come down here to feel what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But I am very proud, and you all should be very proud also of this ancestry, of knowing that, that these voodoo and voodoo pantheons are here to aid you. But I'm not saying you need to go over there and start messing with something, don't know what you're messing with. That's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And I know folks are saying, well, you can't research this, you can't do this. I say that if you possibly can, go somewhere where there are ceremonies, rituals taking place. You understand? When it comes to Santeria, Ifa, Voodoo, Voodoo, Palo Meombe, it'll be a good idea to go and at least be able to observe and see what's going on, so you can tap into who you really are. Now, I know it's a far fetched to go to Africa and all that, because I hadn't gone anywhere myself neither. But just always observe. I don't really want to get myself deep into something I don't know what I'm getting into, because my mind always go back to what that man named Chief Amachi and him being initiated to Mama Wata. And when he came back a few days later, he passed away. When he came back a few days later from Africa, he passed away. Now, I'm just going to tell you, my mind goes in a lot of places, because sometimes I say, well, it could be, who knows, what I'm saying? Was he sacrificed to Mama Wata? Did Mama Wata, dislike you? Or, I don't know. So I'm not, I have decided that me, myself, personally, I'm not going to get initiated in any of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, you speaking a different language. I don't know what you're saying over my head. I really don't know. You may mean me well, but I don't know what you're saying over my head, because I don't understand Congolese. I don't understand Nigerian native tongue. I don't understand these things. Yoruba language, Ifa language. I don't understand that, so I can't go in those places and let you sit over here and um what I'm saying, ring the bells and beat the drums and stuff, because you're definitely dealing with something supernatural that is foreign. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like want to make sure that I'm not going too far. What I do, like I did this doll that y'all just got through looking at. this is something that's coming to me from the supernatural world with this doll and everything. But who knows? You know, you don't 100% know if you're gonna get in trouble with that. You know. So I'm telling y'all, please use caution. You know, because some of these pantheons are what they call petrol, meaning that they can turn on you. You can take a turn on you anytime they decide. They may just say, you know, but I'm not afraid of my dolls because I know my dolls is me. But I do know that somewhere in a distant time period, it could have been what? I don't know, centuries ago on the coast of Africa. I don't know. Why did I say on the coast of Africa? Somewhere in probably Liberia. You know, I don't know. Somewhere in Liberia, somewhere, in Nigeria or Benin. You know, that there was a grandmother of mine, who a great, 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 great grandmother, way back when of mine, that probably she had the skills of making dolls too. And it's so beautiful to me to know, wow, you know what I'm saying? This could be something she did, or great 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 grandfather, great 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 grandfather. You understand? He used to do that, and it was beautiful for me to sit down and talk to Ethel, and Ethel say, you know what, she told y'all that her brother Eugene practiced this, and he was a hoodoo man. And y'all know Elsa is a hoodoo woman. And that's beautiful to know your culture. So I want you all to, sit down and talk to your elders in your family. Or if you don't have any elders in your family that practice and stuff, the ones that of you all who are from these areas down here, you know what I'm saying? Because we're very connected, here in the southeast, we're very connected, southeast and the central south. You know what I'm saying? I stopped right there at Texas because I don't know if Missouri participated now in this or not. But now it is, and Arkansas. So how could you forget Arkansas? Arkansas also are the descendants too, and hoodoo is prevalent there too, very prevalent. That's where one of these ladies, what her name is, Carolina Die. She's actually from Arkansas, but it is said that the folks in Missouri, I mean the folks in Arkansas, said that the people in Missouri is considered the South too, and I didn't know that. Did y'all know that Missouri is considered the South too, and that some of the descendants of that also was in Missouri? I didn't know that, y'all. I got family that lives in Missouri. Y'all already know about that and everything, but they're out there. But I made this girl a little afro and stuff. But oh, she's so pretty. I want y'all to see her. I done scrunched her head up and made her a fro. Here she goes. I want y'all to see her whole entire body. But these dolls are very powerful, y'all. You get these dolls and you pack these dolls up, and I mean they will do a lot of supernatural work for you if you believe. So by the time, like I said, she's packed with sand. She's packed with herbs, dried rose petals. I'm picking my rose petals now. Dried sages and stuff like that. She's packed with all her herbs, and I haven't anointed her yet. I'm going to anoint her with different essential oils and stuff like that after she has gone and been soaked in the ocean. I'm going to put a little bit of ocean water on her and everything, and you bring her back home and you give her a little place, a special place, altar, dresser, whatever. And then you're able to start speaking to her, speaking commands to her, and employing her spirit. Like for instance, if I have her for say for instance, the gold represents prosperity, and then I talk to her about, hey, investments and different things that, you use your imagination for what you want your dolls for. You got, and you're gonna have to, the oils have to be concentrated and centered around anything that prospers. You know what I'm saying? So I would talk about the different oils, but I'm sure y'all already know what oils you would use on your door. Y'all already know about prosperity oils and stuff like that. But you would actually continuously anoint this doll, soak this doll with these oils. Does that make sense? So for people who don't know much about oils, then you would use an oil like a prosperity oil that's already blended by somebody who know what they're doing, or you can research it. You know what prosperity oils you want to use on the doll and stuff like that. And sometimes I like to go and get the dolls, like the women and stuff like that. My little women dolls, I like to get them their own little perfumes and stuff like that. I may spend $75 for perfume, and then when I want something to happen and I'm invoking the spirit inside the doll, then I'm gonna spray her real, real good. So she's already set up in a nice little place, a comfortable little place, and everything where she want to be. And you always move them around. Like if something stop moving or something in your life, you give them a different spot, to spark the spirit up. I learned a lot from Auntie. I ain't lying, you know what I'm saying? So if I say, for instance, I got this doll on my dresser, things look seem like they're tapering down. A lot of things been going my way, but then all of a sudden it just seems like things are tapering down and they ain't getting as much as I was getting. Well, I'm finna take her now to another room, give her a change of scenery, get her probably give her a little water or something, like a little glass of water next to her. You know what I'm saying? Wipe her. I got some dolls here now need wiping down. Wipe her up real good, clean her off, show her some attention. Hey, look, here I am. I ain't abandoning you. Oh Lord, I got some dolls that I definitely need to be talking to. Fix her hair up and stuff like that, and then anoint her with some oils and stuff like that. But always keep water near them and stuff like that. And you'll see a positive change in your life. These are things that they ain't going to teach you in nobody's school. And it's because the people who know about this kind of stuff don't think you need to know about it. They just think you need to go and make sure that you know that Abraham Lincoln chopped down a cherry tree. Okay? That's what they want you to know. And they want you to know that he has never told a lie. They also want you to know that Benjamin Franklin discovered electricity when he had a kite flying in the air while it was on a stormy day. He had a key on the end. I don't know why he had a key on the kite outside in stormy weather. He was just flying it. Okay? So whatever significance you can get out of that or whatever, it's just ridiculous. But that's what they want your children to learn. You know what I'm saying? They definitely want you to know that George Washington Carver was the first one that discovered some doggone peanut butter. And it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Peanuts are all over the world. People have been making peanut butter for centuries before he even came to town. I don't know the significance of Madam C.J. Walker making a straightening comb for your hair. And if anything, that's the worst thing she could have done. I didn't even celebrate what you call African American history. I think it should be abolished. Why? Because if you're not going to teach the children the true history of America, of African American history, I say don't teach nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. Okay, y'all, I'm straight way off the conversation. Let me see what everybody's talking about. I'm finna read the chat. I didn't know everybody was chatting. Uh Necromancers were shamans. Okay, says Saint Anne. So the moon and Mercury says so much I learned in school seems fake as hell when I really think about it. That's right, moon and Mercury, and you're very young, so I'm glad you're getting an opportunity to be able to get yourself in a place where you can start deprogramming all the lies out of your mind. Cause girl, like I said, just do your own research and you decide what you want to continue to believe in that you learn in school and what you want to get rid of. But you know what I'm saying? Like I say, storage in our brains. We don't have a whole lot of room, but I don't know. I ain't saying that for everybody. Some people got a lot of room in their brain to expand, you know what I'm saying? But as you get older, that room gets shrinks smaller and smaller. So I do say we all need to get rid of those things in our brain that ain't serving us. So, calculus is not serving me at this point. and trigonometry is not serving me. So, we can move some of that stuff out of the way, get it out of our brain so we have more room to store things, like I say, that's going to do some work for us, on a positive note. Hello? Okay. The Moon and Mercury says, there was a doll maker that I liked from Instagram, but she left that thing. She made hers with clay with cloth bodies. Okay. Red Spirit said, I started as a medium at 11, then got into the witchcraft, and later came and became a empath. St. Anne says, I'm a very little Eastern Cherokee, so I just thought I'd ask. Red Spirit's been doing her very own research. Red Spirit said the last shaman in my family was in Arkansas on a reservation, and he was my great great grandfather. My family kind of abandoned our history as they got whiter through the generations. Well, see, that's what they want us to do. That the powers that be want us to abandon anything that ain't serving no purpose of them. So, if you got traditions and old fashioned values and things that you've had generations and generations and generations back, they do not think any of that is significant. But you need to know that it is significant. It is significant that you know who you are and where you came from, but they don't want us to know it. They don't really care. They don't care who you are and what you come from. You could come from Ireland. They don't want you to know that. They don't care. See, so that's why we're gonna have to go to these libraries, and you can get a little bit of history from here too, and go online and find out as much as you possibly can. Now, what I was fixing to say, I'm sitting here working on my doll's head and stuff like that. But don't sit up and rely on what you learn in school, because you got to realize you didn't learn anything in school. You know what I'm saying? You didn't. They didn't teach us how to shop and save money to when we're shopping in the grocery stores. They didn't teach that. They didn't teach us how to make ends meet. They may have taught us how to fill out a job application, but really and truly, I hate to say it, I spent 12 years in public schools. 12 years. And yeah, all of that time, what have we learned in 12 years? Don't y'all think we wasted 12 years? I'm still trying to say, now what did I learn in 12 years? I'm still sitting here trying to see. Let me see. What did I learn 12 years? I'm still thinking. I don't know. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, here we go now. I'm going to start this up again, okay?
Because we had a Western mind, and I had never been outside the United States before, and when I got to Africa, it was kind of shock. And not that all the bad things that you see, that there are people in Africa, there's parts of Africa that's as modern as America, but we were used to seeing pictures that was portrayed on TV that wasn't necessarily the truth. Mm-hmm. So what we learned when we went to Africa, that they showed us where the slaves would leave and exit Benin. And there's a city that's called Ouida. And in Ouida, and this is the city that John is buried, because that's where he traced his family back. And he's still got family members over there now. He traced it back to Ouida. And in Ouida, there's what's called a gate of no return. And they showed us that the African would take their last wash off before they would be headed to the ship. So a lot of times the slaves would be put under houses, and I've seen those houses. Matter of fact, we had a house like sort of like remind me of that where I grew up in, and they were off of the ground. But they only sit about so high off of the ground, and all the slaves wasn't in the house; they was under the house. So after weeks, they would be defecated and everything on themselves. So they would wash them off before they moved them to the big ship to bring them to America. Now, in celebration of that, in 2005, John Smith led us, a delegation of us, over to do a reconciliation. And in the country of Benin, in the city of Cotonou, they have now what's called a gate of return. So we had the gate of no return, and now we go over to celebrate the gate of return. And this is what a lot of descendants of the American slave is not aware of, that there's people in Africa that wants them, they don't have to go back to stay to Africa, but want them to know that they're welcome back home.
That's really awesome. Dr. Ingram, we know that you're joining us on the line. Dr. Ingram, once again, is the CEO and chairman of Alabama Benin Trade Forum. Tell us a little bit more about some of the inner workings right now of what you all have done to go back and get some of the history of Africa Town and bring it to the forefront.
Thank you, Dee Dee. One thing I want to bring to light and add to what McKenday has said is that just trying to, so we want everyone to picture what had happened to the, I like to say Africans, I don't like to use the term slaves, to the Africans that became enslaved. When they were, imagine being in your homeland and a group of people would come with guns and knives and swords to put around you up as if like you were cattle. And what they would do is they would, whomever they caught, they would put them in little shacks, as we would call them, little tin sheds, and they would keep them in there for about 30 days with nothing but bread and water. So whomever survived, those were the ones that they brought, took to the ship and brought to America. You can only imagine, this was children and women and men, but prior to them going through the door of no return, as Mr. Hasib had eloquently pointed out, is there's a tree, and it's still in Ouida, that they would make them go around 3 times. And the purpose of that tree was that they were to forget their culture, forget their religion, and forget their homeland. So they had to do this ritual that the captors had made them to do. And once they came to Mobile, they tried to recreate their homeland. In one of the areas, as Mr. McKenday stated, Magazine Point, there's another area called Plateau. And I actually visited Plateau in West Benin when I was there. So they continue to speak their native languages. They use a lot of African gardening, as Mr. McKenday alluded to, and their own cooking techniques. So they tried within themselves to try to remain as close as possible in touch with their heritage and their culture. And one thing that we want to note is that they tried everything possible to avoid any white people. And that was because that was their captors, and they was very much afraid of them. And so what we have done with the Alabama Benin Forum is to make sure that that America, the world, is educated about the true history of what happened between Africa and ultimately in Mobile, Alabama. Most people don't even know, Didi, that Alabama is the last place that the Africans was brought to become enslaved. And so our vision is to make sure we educate our people and also to make sure that we don't return back to that type of environment or that type of mindset.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for that input, Dr. Ingram, adding to McKenday and what he had said earlier. And I want to come back to you because, McKenday, you had also mentioned that there has been this And that's what you all are doing, is this reconciliation now on behalf of Africa. But I also want to, as we talk about that going forward, I want to make sure that we kind of wrap up the story of the Clotilda. Whatever happened to the brothers and Captain Foster after what they did?
Well, there was no trial. There was no punishment for that family. That family is still very wealthy in Mobile. And so a lot of the exploitation of not paying people wages, people become extremely wealthy. And that money been passed down from one generation to the next generation. So there was no penalty that was imposed upon them for that particular act.
And so going forward, since we know what happened to them, we know that those who were survivors of Africa Town picked up the pieces as best they could and began to put their lives back together again with their skills and their labor and the things that they knew from Africa and from life itself. And one of those, you getting ready to say something? I'm getting ready to zoom in and focus on Cudjo Lewis, but I don't want to take you from where your frame of mind was. Okay, one of the last survivors, or the last survivor that's most talked about in all of this has been Cudjo Lewis.
Well, he was a tremendous man of fortitude and vision and a compassion for his community. He was a leader in his community. And he was one of the pillars of the community that held the community together. We had Poor Joe Allen. We have many others who was also involved at that particular time. But there was a very unique group of people, and like Dr. Ingram said, they desired to hold on to much of their culture as they possibly could hold on to. Because when you live in a predominant culture that's contrary or different from yours, if you don't pass that down, and one institution that they was very much involved in is the church, to try to preserve their heritage and history. And Union Baptist Church, as was established in 1870, as a matter of fact, the school that they opened, the one-room school, also at one time was being taught in Union Baptist Church. They believed in education. They believed that they was going to try to make a better way for their children, and they was willing to sacrifice for that purpose and for that cause.
And then there's also Mobile County Training Center. You might as well go ahead and mention that as well as you speak about education.
Yes, that was a part of the whole effort, because before they got a building to accommodate a whole lot of classrooms, they was operating out of Union Missionary Baptist Church. And I think it's also the Hope Baptist Church. They was operating out of that. And eventually they finally got another building and established that school. And I think it's one of the oldest schools in Mobile County. And so they believe that education and preserving their heritage and history and maintaining that cohesiveness was key to being on one accord. And I think that's a big problem that we suffer today, because we don't embrace our culture. We don't understand the importance of the lessons that it has to teach us, or the wisdom that's in that culture.
And I think that groups like what we're representing here tonight, they're trying to change that.
Yeah.
And so as we zoom in and focus a little bit more on what you all are doing, tell us.
What we're
Hey, Trinity.
trying to do now is
Hey,
bring
Gail.
Africa,
Hey, me the
and
people.
Benin in particular. The president over there, when we met in 2005, and then we went back in 2008, I believe it was, he said to us at the time that Benin is the key to coming home, to coming back to Africa. And if you look at you look at how the country is shaped, it's shaped like a key. So I say, well, maybe that's. So he says, this is your key to coming home. You come in Africa, to Benin, and then Africa will open up to you. And so we've been working with the country of Benin and the country of Togo and Ghana and Nigeria and all the West African countries in there to try to bring about this reconciliation. There's opportunities for the descendants that came from Africa economically, culturally. All of these things can be achieved. The problem that I've seen is educating the descendants in America about their descendants in Africa, and we hope to in the future be able to take groups back over. Our overall vision is to get a ship big enough to take 2, 3, 4,000, 5,000 people, and let's sail back where the ship was brought over here. That we came on a ship. Let's go back home on a ship.
Okay, and yeah, of course, I'm just going to be devil's advocate for a second, because you're going to have factions that are just, they're going to have views that some would say are ignorant views.
Right.
They don't want to go there because, and I don't want to get too far sidetracked with this, but they don't want to go there because they don't want what they might fear what would happen.
TV, right? Yeah. Well, I was afraid too. You know, you got that little fear in you because you've seen all this stuff on TV, and I had never been outside of the country. Once you get to Africa, that fear will subside. Now, I would love to, and I hope I'm blessed before I leave here, to be able to go to Africa, to stay over there 6 months, and maybe to come back to America 6 months. And maybe sometime go stay a year or two, and then come back to America. We're not saying you got to go back to Africa like some of people are saying.
That you're going to get left over there.
That you're going to get left over there. But you need to see where you come from.
Right.
Well, you need to also understand that the people who created astronomy, the people who did irrigate the Nile, people who built pyramids, people who had first established medicine, dentistry, all of those people, those trades, we was not a people who was doubt the skills of civilization when we came here. We came here knowing these things. So we didn't have no need to be civilized, even though that's the concept that people say. But if you see Mount Kilimanjaro, if you see the beautiful mountains and the valleys, if you see the boulevards with palm trees and 6 and 7 lanes, see, we only see Africa out of the eyes of someone who is trying to distort. But we have many people who vacation in Africa because it's the most beautiful place in the world. And to rediscover that place and to reclaim that rich heritage. Because when civilization first began, it began on the African continent. Christianity did not come from Europe. It came from Africa. So many people have a lot of misconceptions because of what we've been told and what we've been taught. But all of that is just propaganda.
Didi, I'd also like to add to remind our viewers that, slavery officially started in August in 1619. The first ship that came to America docked in Jamestown, Virginia. And something that's worth noting, that was 1 year prior to the Pilgrims landing. So we all hear about Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims started this, but the Africans were already here when the Pilgrims landed, and it officially ended December 6th in 1865. So that's 246 years that we were in bondage and that we were forced into servitude as slaves. And so it's very, very important, as Mr. McKenday and Mr. Hasib has pointed out, that we educate our children for the next generations and the next generation so that they will know that they came from royalty. As Mr. McKenday just eloquently said, when they came, they were the doctors. They were the mathematicians. They were the sculptors. And so the propaganda in the United States via the media has most people, and including blacks, African Americans, to believe that Africa is this famine, disease country, that Nigeria exists because of oil. And we need to change the narrative. We need to change the landscape on that so that that the United States and the world would know that Africa is gorgeous. It is beautiful. It is the most beautiful continent in the world. And as Mr. Henry just stated, I mean, it is, when you go there, your first trip there, you're in awe. Because we, in this Western mindset, we've been fed all this propaganda all of our lives, and you go there, it's like, oh, this is like New York, this is like California. They're more advanced than we are. as a continent, they're way more advanced technologically than we are. So we want to, this forum, that's part of what we're doing is to change the mindset of people when it comes down to what Africa and Africa Town really represent and what the culture and really is all about.
And I'm glad you went there, Dr. Ingram, because that was where I was going next, is to try to just zoom in and focus more. We're talking about Africa Town and we're talking about Africa and that sort of thing, but I really want to talk about specifics of what you all are doing on the ground right now to make everything that we're talking about come off the pages of history and into a legacy that we can leave for our children and our children's children.
Well, specifically,
thank you, Dee Dee, for that. One of the trips that I just returned from West Africa in Benin, and I met with all of the government officials, from the newly elected president to all of the cabinet members there, and we have assigned a partnership state that they can come through us as a forum. And what we would do is we would pair them with businesses here in the United States that to receive their goods, and also if their businesses here in the United States, we want to encourage them also to do business in Africa. So we want this to be a bilateral agreement and approach, and we're spending a lot of our time in educating locally, and now thanks to Aware, that we'll be able to educate nationally about what Africa Town is and what we need to do, some of the challenges that we face because of the propaganda and from the lack of support from the public, from the descendants of Africa. When I say descendants, I'm talking about all of us as descendants from Africa. That Africa is very, very important, and something that we don't understand and we don't talk about is the fact that Africa is the number one, is the richest continent as it is in the world, and also that everything that we use in our everyday life, 99% of all raw material comes out of Africa. So we are working on trying to get businesses that will go into Africa to help build processing machinery, so that those businesses in Africa, they want an American presence in Alabama, specifically in Africa Town, to create jobs, to create opportunities, to create cultural universities, basically, technological centers. So we're on the ground, working up, trying to get our people to understand the importance of the connection. That's where we have to start, is what the connection is between Africa and Alabama and Africa Town. That's where we lose, that's where we have the disconnect, because most African Americans, the Black, don't think that Africa is a priority.
I think that
I see.
I would totally agree with her, because we are trying to make that connection economically, culturally, and spiritually. There's a website you can go to called African Growth and Economic Act, and you can look at all the different products that the African have that they would like to try to create trade with these different products. So that's an act that the United States Congress of the United States gave an exemption to the South Sahara countries that they could ship their duties in. And Pritchett and Tuskegee was very fortunate. They voted to set up trade-free zones where you could ship products into these zones without duty. And so those two areas was very, very on the cutting edge of trying to establish this relationship, the economic relationship. We invest our money in a lot of things, but we don't invest our money in the things that going to benefit not only us, but the next generation. If you spend all your resources with someone else, then you can expect for your house to be raggedy. So we have to learn to invest in the things that going to help build and maintain our community. And a lot of the social ills that we are struggling with is because of lack of resources.
I see.
And did he also like to add regarding AGOA, which is the African Growth Opportunities Act? That was enacted in 2000 into law under President Bill Clinton. And as of March of this year, there are over 8,000 products that can be brought into the United States duty free. And for our viewers, duty free is the tariff that associated with when you're shipping goods, be shipped here to the United States, that they charge you a duty. Well, the African Growth Opportunities Act allowed that they would get preferential treatment for countries in Africa for their goods that were stamped in Africa coming into the United States, because the duties could be $30,000, $50,000. So for a very small farmer or even a very small business owner in Africa, that would just wipe them out completely, or they just would not be able to ship their goods here. And one of the things I want to also does have a free trade zone also. And so we have been working side by side, hand in glove with Tuskegee, and also to make sure that we economically, that both Tuskegee and Africatown and Mobile both benefit economically through the AGOA Act. And when we talk about bringing products in, we have the port in Mobile, Alabama. It is the third largest deep water port in the United States. So it can accompany, it's about 16 boats.
Hey, Lace
so it can accommodate
they
a
are
lot of goods
tragically trying to destroy
from
my live
Africa.
stream. I
asking
keep having interruptions. Y'all don't go nowhere. Just stay right here.
The ships have had to
Don't
go
go
down
nowhere.
to Jamaica.
They're not
and
going to
come
break
back
this
up,
session up.
and then come into the United States. So we're working so we have a direct path from Africa to the United States, and once those products come into the United States, then they can be shipped out to via trucking companies. They'll be shipped out to various business owners in the United States. So there's so much opportunity there. It's so much opportunity for Black America, as McKinney said, economically, just the cultural awareness of it. There's so many opportunities that we are missing. And it's very important that we connect the dots.
I see, and that's what you all are trying to do. You mentioned Mayor Ford of Tuskegee. I know you've mentioned former Pritchard Mayor John Smith. And also people don't know that Senator Michael Figures, former representative who's deceased, is
very
involved
in trying to establish this.
Henry Williams.
Yeah, Henry Williams, a representative, Bill Clark. All of these was instrumental in
Mayor Neal also in Tuskegee was very instrumental in trying to help with this vision to bring it about.
So in some regards, some of this vision has come to pass, even though some of these people are not amongst us to see it come to fruition. And then in other regards, there's still much more, as we see, to do.
There's a lot of work to do. For instance, a lot of the historical sites need to be highlighted for the tourists can come, because one of the visions was to start an African market where people can come in and see crafts being done, and they can come in and see a lot of the things, food, and have restaurants and hotels. So the possibility is there. The vision is there. But the resources and the organization and the structure and the community support is what we are trying to utilize this service this platform that you are allowing us to speak to those people to recognize that this is an avenue for economic development, for cultural awareness, and for reclaiming something that was actually very valuable to us that we lost.
Let's talk
We
about.
ultimately want to build an African museum.
Okay.
In Africatown. We want this museum to represent our ancestors. We want this museum to be one that people from all over the world will be excited about coming to see visit this museum. That in itself, the tourism will create much needed resources and an economy boost in Africa Town, in the Mobile area also. We should have, I know we have the African American Museum in DC, but we need a museum of that magnitude in the Mobile area, in Africa Town, so that the community can showcase their pride and their heritage of our ancestors. And so that's something we're really working on. And of course, that's going to take a lot of financing, a lot of public-private partnerships, and we're looking for all of that. We're looking for investors. We're looking for, we want to partner with schools. We want to partner with other institutions to make this museum to become a reality.
I see. And so when we talk about Africa Town, we've mentioned Plateau and Magazine Point and some other. What particular area are we talking about? Because this is bigger than just that.
Well, there is a designated park that's been set aside and might be marked as a historical designated area, but we cannot just keep it in that part of the county. We have to also take in the communities that also need to be a vibrant part of this. But the museum, we also was looking at a park. We were looking at a African park where there would be boats and all kinds of things to be there, be a place where people can go and relax and enjoy themselves. We were looking at a replica of the Clotilda to be a part of a museum as well. So we do have a lot of plans that have been discussed over the years about how to bring this about. The vision is here. The commitment, Dr. Ingram have been very leading out now, been committed. Lately, she had picked up the torch to move this idea forward, and she had went over to Africa and visit, like she said, and met a lot of the people. So and celebrate ourselves. And we're not holding any bitterness. This is not against anybody. We just struggling trying to make things better for those who are here. So it's not a struggle against anybody. It's a struggle to survive.
I see what you're saying.
But I was just thinking as you said that. We had some presidents. I remember President Bush being one because they highlight him. You can understand now how he got into the spirit. A man that probably couldn't dance, as we saw during his inauguration, but when he went to Africa, he was in it because he was able to get to the spirit. So that's what I'm saying. If you go there and experience that spirit, you'll never be the same.
And what did you say about going to Africa and the dancing and the singing and the music?
I was saying that there was a saying that they kind of say this sometimes and make us understand that that's how much we have lost. When they catch the plane and they go to Africa, some of the brothers be on the tarmac and they be playing the African drums. And when you pass by and you didn't get it, there was no response from you. They said, well, yeah, he have lost his soul in America.
Uh-oh. and before we're gonna do a little something special for our viewers in just a moment. Speaking of lost souls, but certainly not forgotten, souls in the grave sites in Africa Town. Can we just mention them a little bit as we talk about?
Please visit Africa Town if you ever come through Alabama.
Having actual
Mobile, Alabama.
not just proof that they were there and that they are still there, but that these people, their lives, their legacy lives on, even though they're there resting.
It does. And when the African families come over, they always come to visit their loved ones in the cemetery. The cemetery is being kept up and preserved so that we can visit. And so some of it is being restored because some of it had at one time was going through some ruins. Mm-hmm. And so it's a lot of focus is on making sure that we respect those who have went before us and the legacy they have left.
in the old Plateau Cemetery of Africa Town's graveyard. And I understand we also pulled up some images of Cudjoe
Hey,
Lewis's
Jada.
grave
Monument.
Hey, the wise
monument
monkey.
and his site that we
Hey,
had as well,
Scorpio
and then to bring him
777.
the last survivor of the Clotilda as well. You brought some musical instruments here on a more upbeat. That's the photo that we had of him and his wife.
Cujo.
But here on our set of Aware, we
That's one of the
have the
last
opportunity to
descendants
have
of
some instruments here
African
that
Africa
Lieutenant
town
Dave's going to
to
introduce us to
have
and perhaps
survived.
play as he did at the top of the show. A few
This
minutes
is called the Garumba. Now we call it xylophone here in America,
Okay.
but we have been playing music. Now music, they say, the kind of music you play determine the health of a community. If you got sick music that's saying sick things, then you got a sick community.
Okay.
But if you got music that's talking about healthy things, and then that reflects a healthy community. So this is called a xylophone. And that's how that sounds.
I love it. And this particular instrument?
Okay, this is called an African music box.
Okay.
And that's how that sounds.
I love
Well,
it.
I would say this much: my soul is not dead.
Neither is mine, because I was about to get up to the 2/4 beat. This wonderful music is universal. It's a universal language.
It's a universal language
Yes.
where people celebrate. And they say this, to communicate, it connects us to each other. And it also connects us to our Creator. And so music has been a very instrumental part of lullabies when we're born, and funeral processions when we die. So music is something that accomplishes us all through life.
Mhm.
When we celebrate, when we do things. So music is just an intricate part of who we are.
And so since we're celebrating, talking about African sound and all that other good stuff, I appreciate you for bringing and highlighting music here as we do that. So that's just a wonderful way to just work that in. I love it a whole lot.
Thank you very much.
We know that you brought something as well.
Well, was one of the T-shirts that we sold during the Africa Town event here, and this has got a picture of Cudjoe Lewis and his wife, and a replica of the ship that brought us over here.
Okay.
And on the back of it, it got some of the ancestries of how it went down. And some of these people we did get a chance to meet of
good.
Cudjoe Lewis and those people. A lot of them, well, we got a younger generation, but a lot of them now is deceased that knew the history. And we have to learn how to preserve our history.
Gotcha. And Dr. Ingram, as we get ready to close here, do you have any closing comments on the vision that you have for Africa Town and the forum?
Okay, so anyways, for y'all who just came in, I was just playing a little snippet of the history of Africa Town, which is in Mobile, Alabama. And it's about the ship Clotilda, Cotilde, the Clotilda. It's a ship, and there were some rich white men that owned the ship, and they just decided that they did a bet that they can go to Africa and bring back what they call slaves and get away with it. And what they did it. They went to Benin, Africa, and they got 100 and something people from there. I call them hostages, not slaves. And when they brought them over, they just told them, "Oh, y'all can just go Y'all can just go. Bye. And they went on the hill to form their own town called Africa Town. Africa Town. And it is still there. They have museums there. The descendants are keeping the legacy and the story alive. And they got museums down there and everything. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go down there and take a look at it. I want to see it for myself. And these people are Benin people. Okay, so I wanted to let you all hear that history because, like I said, they'll never teach you this history in school. And so that's what I want to encourage you all to start doing a lot of research on the history of America, of your cultures, no matter what your culture is, no matter what your color is, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we all mix with each other, you know what I'm saying? So no matter what color you is, just look at all of the different cultures and races or whatever, because they said we're a melting pot. We supposed to be all of us are the same. You understand? So go out there and do some research on your particular area. You can go inside your library. So just say the history of Texas. Type that in. How did Texas come about, and who actually owned Texas before America, you understand, got Texas. That type of research and stuff like that. Because like I said, when I did it, I was shocked to know that Alabama was owned by the French. No one knows about that. No one knows that Mississippi was owned by the French, as well as Louisiana, that the three states that are states now, they were one big province. Owned by governed by Pierre Limon, which later died in Cuba. All of it was intertwined with Cuba. You'd never know. And they fought and they got Alabama and they got Mississippi, but they had to purchase and buy Louisiana. The Louisiana Purchase. Right now, if you go to get an EBT card in Louisiana, it's called the Louisiana Purchase card. So this is history that shocked me. And which the French was living. Their living quarters were in places like Mobile, Alabama. And when you go to Mobile, there are most of the streets are French names. The houses look like French homes and Spanish homes and stuff like that, of that nature. And when you go to Gulfport, Mississippi, you will see the same. Why couldn't they teach America? Why y'all didn't teach us that in school? Huh? Was that gonna bruise your ego? That the French had something to do with the fact that they actually built places like Mobile, Alabama, and Selma, where I was actually born. Selma, where I was born, used to be called Ecorbinville, another French name. Let's talk about it. How about that, America? You don't want nobody to know what you did? Not only did you take the land from us, America, you took it from the French too, didn't you? So that's why I say I want everybody to do some research of every state if you possibly can, because you're going to uncover a lot of dirt that they didn't feel like little children needed to know. Okay. So now I'm going to research all of the different states here in America, Wyoming and everything. But I know what y'all saying, you just never know, honey. They take and they insert and take and extract and give in just about all your history, so you don't know what's what. But anyways, that does explain, the different French names and stuff given to the streets in Mobile. Okay, what we got going on in the chat room? St. Anne said, hell, they didn't teach us that a Blackbeard, the pirate, took a bride in Port Royal, South Carolina. I'm going to look that up, St. Anne. That ought to be interesting. I got to look at that. They don't want you to uncover the dirt, but one thing about it, it's there for you to see. We can't say, "Oh, I didn't know they didn't teach us," cause it's up to us to go out and figure out what's going on. Okay. Hey, hey, AD said everything is coded. Okay. You got a photo of the tree? Say now, what tree you talking about? Maybe I'm gonna read it when I get up here. Okay, I'm reading chat. Gail said, LOL, I was born in Barlow Bend, Alabama. I never heard of Barlow Bend. Now, I know they call them bends. That's where that Alabama, everywhere the Alabama bends, y'all, they'll put a bend at the name of it. Like I went back there to that park back there, and that park had a bend in it. They'll do that. There's another place they call Bend. It's very popular, known for the quilts. What you call that place? Bend? I can't even. Yeah, what's the name of that place in Alabama where them people make them quilts? They're nationally known for their quilts. Something Bend. Gosh. G's Bend. That's another place where like I said, the Alabama River actually bends by G's Bend. So that's why they call it G's Bend. Why am I asking y'all about Alabama history like y'all from Alabama? Okay, St. Anne said, and that tree is not even 10 miles away from the Yoruba village down in the low country. Are you talking about Oyotanji village? Because that's supposed to be like an African culture community down there. They've been having trouble with weather disasters. Okay. Gail said used to be called Barlow Being. Barlow Being? But now they changed it to Jackson, Alabama. Okay, I've heard of Jackson, Alabama. Right. Okay. I'm reading the chat, y'all. So America owes a lot to the French, to be honest. Yes. And to the French, they owe them. They owe just about every single country of people who've been here. They really do. This country was built on a lot of bloodshed, y'all. Okay. Okay, I'm just reading through the chat. Okay, hey Mike, I didn't even know you was in here. And hey Chrissy. Mike says, what are your thoughts on reparations for American descendants of slaves? Well, by the time they get ready to give some reparations, they're not going to be calling you slaves no more. Okay, which means that you're not entitled to anything. I've noticed lately they are starting to call them laborers. How interesting. I grew up all my life hearing that, my descendants were slaves. They were slaves of the transatlantic. But the terminology is beginning to change. By the time y'all start having children, your children will not be taught that they were slaves. They're going to be taught that they were laborers. When you call them laborers, that means that laborers are what? Compensated. So this is going to be a new terminology. Reparations won't happen. You know why? Because they're getting ready to change history to benefit them. I see a lot of that going on. They're taking down a lot of old monuments that represent the old South as we speak, as they get ready to pull a whammy on you. So you won't be able to continue to demand your 40 acres and a mule. Because about in another 50 years, okay, another 50 to 60 years, won't nobody be talking about slavery no more. They will know us as, oh, these are the laborers that came and dedicated themselves by a voluntary act or compensation with money to come and build this place up. So it's going to be like, oh, they just signed up to come over here to the Americas and build this place up. So think about it, 60 years from now, these children will not know any better. They are going to believe this just like they want us to believe all this other bull crap they teaching. How would you know? They have been burying history forever and putting this history behind vaults forever. So all of these old textbooks that teach slavery will be vaulted. Yes, they will. So so I feel like when it comes to reparations, no one will ever see that. Black people never see any kind of reparations and everything because, as this information is available to us here on the internet now. Because ain't nobody dumb now. The only people who are dumb now are the people who choose to be dumb because information is on the internet. You know what I'm saying? As people continue to become knowledgeable as to what the true history was, or seeing a different, well, you may say, well, I don't think it's true, or what, a different perspective on history. And people are going to be demanding, hey, wait, whoa, I see now, I see why I'm owed some money because you done gave the Asians their money. You done gave the Jews their compensation. Wait now, when we going to get ours? We were slaves. Oh, no, you weren't. You weren't slaves. You all were laborers. Okay, so that's what I think about it. I hope I answered your question. Huh. Oh, the moon and Mercury said, LOL, they put cartoons in the recommended videos again. So y'all see it for y'allself. So y'all know I ain't lying. When I be trying to tell y'all, look, check this out. I ain't lying to y'all. They are messing with my views. I used to collect at least about 1,200 to 1,900 views at the end of the week. That stopped about a year ago. So as I tapered down from doing videos and all of a sudden, boom, came back, my videos was going back to what it was. And when they got wind of the fact I had started back doing videos again, then they quickly start buffering videos and hiding videos. You know what I'm saying? They started shuffling my videos in unrelated places. So if you see cartoons, that's so it can be in unrelated places so that people cannot get the information of what really is going on. And once again, it is not necessarily just because I'm giving the information. It's because of the demographic of people who are interested on this end to receive the information. Who are most of the demographics? From what I'm reading, most of the demographics in this audience are from the South. What's so special about the South and what they're concerned about is the church, protecting the church that continues to dumb us down and keep us from going into any type of exploration outside of this establishment, which hinders people, you understand, from knowing who they really are. It is important that we know thyself. And things are going to change, and they don't want anything to change down south if it's not going to benefit them. Okay, these elites, because I'm telling you, when it comes to these tornadoes, y'all know I know that it's not natural disaster. Y'all know I know that it is the work of chemtrails, the work of man, and all of his different techniques to create weather. And so I know that's what they do with tornadoes and stuff. But I'm seeing that this stuff is working from one state to the next. Alabama is working a lot of these tornadoes. They are responsible for creating them, not just on a national level or a global level. This shit is just on state level because I was looking back there, right there by that, what you call that river? The Coosa River back there. All of them little old houses that sit right there by the Coosa River. I noticed that they are actually the tornado came and tore all of them down. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. The tornado knew exactly the houses to tear down. It was only interested in tearing the houses down by the river. The houses that weren't by the river didn't get torn down. Then I said to myself, oh, maybe because they got some projects and stuff that they want to do for that particular area. You know what I'm saying? I guess they said these people probably own their houses by the river, and they got some ideas that they want to build some houses by the river so they can capitalize off of it. Because riverfront property is very expensive. These houses look old. They look like something people had them paid off, and they were raggedy too. So they do that type of shit here in Alabama. They do that shit. So, like I said, I don't know why I said I was talking about that, but I just know that this is a very sinister place. These different places and stuff like that. In different countries that have these weather disasters, they are the ones that plan this shit well in advance. They plan this shit, y'all. So they probably getting ready to create some goddamn disasters right now. Honey, if I could just sit down and tell y'all what all this government from a national and state level is doing right now, man, y'all will be shocked. Like I'm looking at some shit right now that look crazy. Look like I'm looking at a very robotic net. Just hover him. Hovering like a helicopter right in my face. Like it's coming to pick up information and go and take it off somewhere. And them motherfuckers will bite you too. They be getting your throat and stuff, having you coughing and shit. I ain't no fool. And you can't grab them because when you try to grab them, it's like somebody working the shit with a remote control and they can move it from one place to the next. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of what you say, what you think is insects is actual artificial intelligence and shit. They got motherfuckers spying on your ass, trying to see what the fuck you doing. Yeah, they can. They can send all kind of stuff to you that looks like it may be a real insect or a real, animal or bird or something like that, and it be a robot up there monitoring you, all in your house. I just seen something like that, y'all. I sure did. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. And then I tried to catch it because it was right just sitting there right there within about 3 feet of me. A brown gnat. And I think that's kind of strange because gnats, they don't necessarily just hover. Gnats move. If they hover for a minute or two, they got to move. This thing just standing in one damn place, hovering right across from me. Scorpio said, LOL, true, those bugs are like alien robots. Yep, you so smart. Like Ant-Man. But they are, here that motherfucker is right here now. And if I try to go for him, see what they got. They got these sensors on them. They got sensors on them. So I'm not necessarily saying that that's what this is. But what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? I know, I don't think it's necessarily far-fetched. I just think that kind of technology is on the forefront. I'm not saying that that's what that is, but it's definitely on the forefront. I know it is. Where they're going to be able to send all kind of shit in your house and listen to your ass. Cockroaches, spiders, you know what I'm saying? And something, who knows, maybe there's something on a supernatural level or whatever, but I just got a hold to it. And I just killed it. But now, so I don't know about that, but I know that there are some technologies like that out there, but the shells are so super hard, that you can't just necessarily swat that shit, man, because, the shells are just like pecan shells, like cockroaches and stuff like that. They got these robotic cockroaches and stuff that spread disease and stuff out there. And, you just about need a motherfucking hammer to put that thing out of his misery. But you ain't going to just step on that and kill it, They in the labs doing this kind of stuff. Y'all ain't making this stuff up. I really ain't. And some of them are not just gonna be made just to spy on you, but to come in and inoculate you with different bloodborne pathogens. Or just to put your fucking lights out. You might be just sitting up in your house and get bit by some shit that got venom inside of it. Yeah, they working on all that. As I chuckle, you understand? I'm still serious about it. Okay, the moon and goddess said I have to go, but I will watch the live stream later in the day. Good night. Good morning to all of you. Okay. Scorpio said yes, but if you are real, that diatomaceous earth will get them. The sting is much harder than it usually is when they bite. That's how you know it's one of them. Yes, Gail. I've noticed that when they bite you and sting you so hard, you also wind up with a big old bump on your arm that look like it won't never ever go away. Now, once again, I want y'all to know that I'm not saying that every single bite you got is something lab created. I'm just telling you it ain't far fetched. Do your research and look at what they really doing to people around here. And if you are a person that is an annoyance, that you continuously talking about stuff they don't want you talking about, you may be getting a visit from something pretty soon. Because they're monitoring all of us that are talking, they're listening. It's not necessarily about the fact, oh yeah, you talking. What they're monitoring is they're trying to see who really believe it. Who really taking it serious enough? Who's the threat to really believe her? Okay, that's the threat. The threat is she that believable to you? Oh, we got to go out there and put your lights out too. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't necessarily got much interest in over here because they say, okay, that's just the local nut job, you know what I'm saying, that we got over here in this particular area. They going after people with huge followings, you know what I'm saying? So if you got a big old following of people, and people really trust and believe you, and you're a good old home girl for them like Oprah Winfrey, and you talking this way right here, they coming to get you. They coming to get you, buddy. Gail said exactly, and they're trying to take all of what they know about us and put it in a little computer or whatever they use to try to get more information to manipulate with or callous with. Okay, Scorpio said we just chatting. Okay, y'all, I'm going to let you all go ahead and go to bed and everything. I'm going to have to delete this live stream because I do have, I don't know, y'all, can I keep this material knowing that, that is somebody else's material? And I think a lot of people say fair use. They put that in their description, fair use, so that they won't get a copyright strike or what have you. But I'm going to go ahead and delete this video and stuff. So I'm hoping that you all enjoyed the content and stuff like that. Yeah. Uh, I got I got stuck, y'all. I'm working on one of my other dolls and stuff and got stuck with a needle. And that is very painful. I hate to get stuck with a needle. But so I really just don't know if I can just really keep this content up here. You know what I'm saying? We'll just be on the safe side. I'm gonna take it down. And I just want you all to know that history. Maybe I can, y'all know it now, so ain't no sense in keep on talking about Africa Town. Okay, let me let y'all see this last dog. Yes, Jada, she is doing better, huh? Her voice was nice and strong. I called over there and on her phone. I heard her voice. Her voice is very, very strong. We'll get back together when she leave the hospital. I don't even think I should even go beyond that. If somebody tell me all that, I think this is our goodbyes. You know what I'm saying? It's very disrespectful. And in behind that, she lost her apartment. and really and truly how she's treated me and Red and other people who's trying to help her, that's sort of part of her punishment. You know what I'm saying? You lost your house, your phone disconnected, you've lost everything. And it's definitely a time to reflect on your behavior. Your behavior is, if you really don't like people, it's best to let people know this up front. Hey, look, I don't like you. I don't really have a reason for it. But the fact I just don't like your energy around mine. You know what I'm saying? You can at least say that. But if we're around here, we got people around us, and we don't really like them, and we're not being honest about it, and they irritate us, and we just feel some kind of way about it, and we're not addressing it, and we're entertaining the person and stuff like that. We really putting ourselves in a position to be in a situation where we're gonna have miserable lives and stuff, and we're gonna pay for it too. Cause you got to be honest with people. You got to tell folks the truth. You around here got folks around here and stuff like that around you, and you don't like them. You just use them. Oh, I don't like them, and I just use them, take what I for what I want, and that's why you ain't got no house. Now where's she going? See, just got stung by one of them gnats. Now I saw one of them and I killed him. Okay, but another one in here, and there's no kind of fruit or no open water or anything like that in here. I do have some plants in here, but they don't have that much water in them. So what's up with the gnats? Okay, what's up with the gnats? Okay, look at this, y'all. I want y'all to see this doll. I just finished another one. Here's the other one. A dreadlock mermaid Barbie. This one also, I'm going to be taking it to the ocean, and I'm going to kind of dip it in the ocean water too. Okay. Scorpio said, oh my God, put some alcohol or get on it. Okay. She probably, that's what I want. When you have your dog, you can definitely do libations for them. They love it. Tobaccos or cigar smoke activates the spirit most definitely in your dog. And yeah, I'm holding this dog, and I ain't lying. I can actually feel like a sensation of like a crawling sensation going up my arm. So I swear it was on the left arm, and I was holding it, so I moved it, and then I put it in the other arm, and I felt the same sensation, like a crawling sensation, as as I'm holding this doll. So this doll is very powerful. See her face, and she's also packed with herbs and sand, anything that represents the ocean. So when I get through with her, I'm gonna the oil that represent her. You know what I'm saying? This represents sort of like love and things of that nature and stuff, and bonding and all of that. Any oils appropriate to that situation is what you would use to like rub through her hair when you want to employ her spirit. Okay. You would rub it on her face and the shells and the entire body of the doll, and you never neglect it. To neglect it is to put it in a situation where it ain't working for you no more. So, like my charm, I just got this charm right here, oiled up. This is like hair from the dolls on here. So you see what I'm saying? Like this is a charm. Y'all saw me when I did this charm right here. I keep this at my bedside. As you all can see, it is heavily, heavily anointed. I anoint this right here at least about once a week, y'all. They're good to have to keep with you. And it smells so good. Oh, I love that right there. Okay, y'all. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you all her, the dreadlock mermaid. Okay. Oh, Saint Anne says she thought about Oshun when she saw it. Let me. Did you see this other one? I got another one too. Y'all, I don't know. Some of you all may have just come to the chat. Here's another one that I did, and they're gonna have some trim up here. We'll have some trim and some trim, a little trim and stuff like that on and a neck and like a quarry shell necklace. I'm not gonna put any faces on them, so you can put whatever kind of face you want. You can imagine it being whatever kind of face you want on it or what have you. Some people put mirrors on them, so I may just do a few with mirrors on their face, put those little round mirrors on their face and everything. So when you looking at it, you actually looking at yourself in the mirror. What you said? Saint Anne said when you said you can put a mirror on it. There's some little small round mirrors that can go here. Some people make their dolls with little small round mirrors on the face. Instead of putting a face on it, like sculpting a face on it, like cloth sculpting, or what else you do? Cloth sculpting or clay sculpting. You could just glue a mirror there, or glue. Yeah, I would just say a mirror. I wouldn't glue anything else on there but a mirror. Okay, the mirror. What Saint Anne said what the mirror would represent. Let's talk about mirrors. Mirrors are images that are reflected back at you. Like, so whatever is in that mirror is being reflected back towards you. So if you're looking in the mirror, you're reflecting your energy back at you. So you got this doll and you're trying to, and this doll represents prosperity. You're reflecting that energy of prosperity back at yourself. Does that make sense? These dolls, not like that's why I said now, it'd be nice if you can create you a soul doll. Create your soul dolls for yourself so that and like when you're doing that like that. Now these dolls are very generic, okay? So for my people to put whatever they want in them, people who say, "Hey, look, I want to get this doll," they can just put what they want of themselves into that doll. There's a place where they can put their hair, their nails, or whatever they want in there. So these are generic dolls. They would, to go through the ritual of putting their energy in it and removing. I always tell people how to do that, removing others' energy out. Like, you're getting these dolls for people and from people that creating them their own shelves, whatever. You got to do a ritual to remove their energy and insert your energy in these dolls. I recommend that people make and create their own little doll. You could make your own soul doll because you're supposed to put your hair and your nails in there, nail clippings and stuff in there, or and insert your petition and little things of your own intention in these little dolls and stuff like that. That's what make them work very, very effectively. I'm gonna do a snake doll, y'all. I got the material here. This one coming up next. This is going to be the material. It's going to be a snake doll, protection doll, like that. I think that's so pretty. And this doll right here is going to have like the teeth of its mouth is going to be open, and you're going to be able to see the little slithery tongue and the fangs and in the mouth, and it's going to have a what I said I was going to have. The stiletto is going to have stiletto nails. So it won't be nails like her nails, but the pointed stiletto nails. St. Nancy, I have a corn husk shell of a doll. I just need the what's that? The Innard's face and attire. Take your time. Jada says she's gonna make her a healing doll. You definitely can, and like I said, depending on what part you healing, you definitely want some remnants of that area of your body inserted inside that doll. Now I'm gonna go deep on the doll session one day. So y'all heard it from me first. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all get some sleep. Okay, I wish that St. Anne said mine was some made in China voodoo doll from a monk occult shop in New Orleans. So I'm remaking her. Yeah, you put your own energy in now. Put your energy in now. Mm-hmm. Krista says she gonna make her a protection doll. Mm-hmm. And when you make your protection doll, whatever represent protection, you want to put it in that doll while you stuffing it. So you got your protection herbs and stuff. Most definitely got to go in there, and you need your protection oils and stuff like that. Like if I was to make a protection doll, y'all know what I'm gonna put in there. I'm put them cayenne, them hot cayenne peppers all up in there. Yes, and some other goodies and stuff like that. I'm gonna put them in there and everything. Y'all, let me show y'all like this. Y'all remember when I made this right here? Let me tell you something. When I put this thing on my skin, if I put it on me, man, this thing burns. It's hot. People might say, well, it's all them oils you got in there. No, it's deeper than that, baby. I'm talking about hot as fuck. And ain't no cayenne peppers in it. I ain't put no cayenne peppers in there. If I did, it wasn't that many. A pinch. But when I don't know if you ever put a perm on your head or relax on your head, sodium hydroxide, that shit burn like fuck. Burn to a point it'll put a soul on you. So imagine what it's doing when it come to protecting me. Imagine what it is doing. It is going outside, kicking ass. You got a charm that burn. You sure enough got a fire ass charm bag. What they call them? Charm bags, mojo bags, trick bags. What a spirit bags? They got so many different names for them. Said baggage claim. Stole it? Ain't that a mess? They do shit like that. They'll take your shit. Gree bags. St. Anne said. They do stuff like that. And they think it's playful. They think it's funny. And they get stuff like that when their asses get fucked up. They don't even know what fucked them up. They're going around trying to figure out, I don't know why such and such in the family now had a car accident in a wheelchair. They don't know what's going on. I don't mess with people's stuff like that. I don't know what energy they done put in it. But y'all, I'm finna go to bed. I'm tired, sleeping. I know y'all are too. Okay? Can y'all please rate and subscribe? Y'all know I'm gonna be back on the Mother Wilson channel, walking around in the heat. You know what I'm saying? Get my little exercise in and doing my little thing. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. It was Big Mama Willie. Okay? So, okay, good night, Morbid Witch. I'm gonna go on here. I was getting sleepy. What time is it? Let me see over here. It's it's 2:29. Hey y'all, all this week it's been a 9 at the end of everything. 2:29 and 3:09. Sometimes the computer come on. The computer will come on, y'all. The tablet by itself, just so that I can see a 9. Now I was woken up. And haters, don't y'all get no ideas. I ain't talking about y'all family. I'm just saying sometimes the haters be listening too. At approximately 3:09, my phone rung while I was asleep. Just so that I can and it rung. And I said, I ain't finna answer that phone. And so a little later on, some just said, go on, you got to look and see. Make sure ain't nothing happened to the kids, something like that. So I looked at it, and the person called from a private number, 309. I'm like, what the fuck? I was forced to see the fact that the call came in at 3:09. So it's like, you might not look at the clock, but we're going to fucking find a way for you to see this goddamn 3:09. For one time, like I said, everything kept coming on. I said, I ain't looking at no devices to see 3:09. But so I just looked it up at the TV and on the movie, somebody had something written down on the movie that said 3:09. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Keep on making me see them nines. Scorpio say play that damn 9 on Lotto 29. I need to do that. Saint Anne said 9 is all y'all. Y'all right. And I know that's her. That's why I'm trying to hurry up and get down there to this ocean, because I didn't really do the things I was supposed to do for Oya like I should have. So I have really been getting an ass whooping since January. And I felt it. I tried to do something very special for her for her day, which is the 2nd of February, and she was not satisfied at all. I'm just telling y'all the truth. She wasn't satisfied. So I'm behind. I'm telling y'all, one year she took 9 chicken and rooster was 9. And she's saying she done already took 3 or something. So how much we got left? We got 3. She looking for 6 more things. Hell, I don't want that to be me and now nobody I love. So y'all take this stuff real serious, because a lot of folks celebrating some of these pantheons and they weren't chosen and stuff. They better be glad they weren't, because if you were chosen and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, it's not good at all. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like I said, I was minding my own business April of 2017 when I went to the ocean. I went to visit Yamaya, but a woman with a mask showed up. I saw her. Now I know a lot of people want to know how I saw her. I'm gonna tell y'all exactly how I saw her. Let me tell you how I saw her. Well, a lot of folks have seen that video of me at the ocean. I call it the Yoni cleanse. I went down there and sat down inside of that ocean, and I had my eyes closed, and I just let the waves crash all over my face and all over my head. When I had my eyes closed, that's when I saw her. When you close your eyes, you're supposed to see black and darkness. I didn't see that. I saw a woman with a mask on her face. She had a white mask on her face, and behind the mask where the eyes was nothing but black and darkness. I was so afraid I didn't know who it was. I went everywhere researching, trying to figure out who this individual was. I was all on the internet. In the beginning, I thought it was my mom, Bridget, that day. I said, oh, okay. I calmed down. I said, okay, that's who it is. Okay. That next day, that morning, I woke up. She was at the door. I saw her with my physical eyes. I didn't see her with the mind's eye. I saw her with the physical eyes at my door. Opened up my bedroom door. But this time, she had skulls. And she was holding a lightning bolt, and she had the mask on her face. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? What do you want? And by that time, I was getting angry. And I was going around asking people around here, and they said they never heard of it. and y'all know Auntie now, anything she ain't familiar with is a demon. Auntie said, that's a demon. I said, what? She said, good, that is a demon at you. So, Auntie, she'll know. So then what I said, okay, I said, let me start researching this. And as I started researching it, it said, oh, yeah. And it talked about the skull, the mask, the lightning, and everything. And so that was my first introduction to her. And from then on, they talked about how, they talked about her, the storms and the rain. And I started noticing that and the videos are still up there. I started noticing that I was able to call down thunder. You can still see the videos. I was able to call down rain. And I was doing it on video, but then I stopped because it got to the point I couldn't control the rain. The rain was actually drowning my plants. I went from drought, because I was calling on the rain, to flood. It started flooding. So I got scared and stopped. Lost a lot of plants. In behind that, that's when she took 9 chickens, ducks, and roosters. Yes, she did. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. So I gained a level of respect for her. I said, I can't do that no more. So and let me tell you, it got to the point also that I would, every time it'd be dry outside, and as soon as I walked out the door, it started raining. And I never will forget, I was in this place. I was at this place outside. We were eating. They had like outdoor tables and stuff. And so I was sitting there and I was bragging to y'all, who is this in my live stream? I just got lost. Who's out? Who's in my live stream like that? My live stream just shut down again. Yes, Saint Anne, some fool. I'm sitting out here talking and they just stopped the live stream. And I watch people live streams every day. I'm always in people's live stream and I never see that with them. They just go all the way through like nothing happened. I got good networks here. Saint Anne said probably some pastor sitting over there praying against it. But so I was sitting outside at the table and I was letting the people know, yeah, I can make it rain, because I was just going everywhere bragging about I can make it rain. So I said I was gonna do it, and it got cloudy. I said within about 5 minutes, it didn't take no time, it got cloudy and just started pouring down rain. Everybody was impressed. Then I did it on another occasion to my spiritual teacher. I was outside and then I said, yes, I can make it rain and everything. He was kind of person. He's the kind of person he is. Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all a story about Matt. He's the kind of person, he's skeptical about everything. Matt is very interesting because Matt drives a old limousine around everywhere where he goes. Him and his wife. His wife is kind of slow and real simple. And she looked more like one of his hostages than his wife. But anyways, but so I said yes. I said, Matt, I can make it rain. I can make it rain. And then he looked and he said, don't you know anybody can make it rain? Anybody can make it rain. I said, oh, okay. So he's getting smart with me. He said, but since you say you can make it rain, do it then right now. It was nighttime. He said, make it rain. I kid y'all not. Right just over Matt's head, it began to rain. There was no rain on me, just on Matt. He said, you know what? I'm impressed. He didn't get but a few drops on him and everything, but I don't mess with that kind of stuff no more. Because you have a spiritual debt towards, you already got spiritual debt towards oil. I'm just going to be honest. I got some very serious debt towards oil. And if y'all see me sniffed out anytime soon, I want to go ahead and let y'all know who came and got me. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Because I cannot keep up with her demands. And like I said, I did not choose her. She chose me. I did not go in that ocean looking for her. Matter of fact, I didn't even know Oya was in the ocean. I thought, unless y'all wears a mask and holds a lightning bolt in a hand and a skull. But at the work said it is Oya, all of the work that I've read. So what is she doing in the ocean? Why ain't Yamaya not in the ocean? So now I'm getting word from her that I owe her because, most of what I have here, she helped me get it and everything. And she been over here, saying, whooping my ass for the last 2 years and stuff, taking things and all of that, So I'm like, and people will say, well, you know what? You can't get involved. Open doors to things that you are not sure of. But like I said, when I went to the ocean, I only took gifts to the ocean. That's what I did. You know what I'm saying? Just like other people take gifts to the woods, to the forest, to the raccoons and all of that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with me taking gifts to the oceans for your Maya? And then all of a sudden, this pantheon shows up. She shows up. I did not invite her into my life. I really did not. And what things look like, she looks dangerous to me. And so I've talked to two other of her children, and they said that they've been having like similar situations where scary things been happening to them too. But sometimes she be coming in my dreams and stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying? And she demands stuff. She demands. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all mess with this stuff. I don't care what y'all say, what nobody else say. They demand things. Sometimes you feel like a slave. You feel like a slave. I'm looking at the altar over there, and she demands me to come over there and clean it up and sit down to it and everything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about it. Thank you, babe. I'm not talking about it because I know she could sniff me clean on out, clean on out. I'm just telling y'all that it's some serious business, man. I'm tired. And I'm telling you, they use your energy too. They use your energy, but at the same time, when somebody bothering you, they get their ass whooped. Look at Auntie that got her ass whooped for what she said to me. Auntie done lost her apartment, her phone cut off, everything gone, y'all. Auntie may have to leave there going to a nursing home. So she will fight folks for you. They'll fight people for you now. And so they want you to take care of them like they've been taking care of you. Hello? St. Anne said Shango was allegedly originally a woman. Said what? I'm gonna have to look that up, St. Anne. Cause what I was taught that Shango was Oya's husband. I'm reading the chat. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead on y'all and let y'all go to sleep. It's just been so nice talking to y'all and everything, okay? And I'm gonna have to take this video down. I wouldn't make it private, but I don't know. The people may see the video who owns the rights to that and say, Okay. Okay, now good night, y'all. Please rate, unsubscribe.